Welcome,
Recording in progress.
welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today for the SAP Build Apps onboarding webinar. My name is Alfonso and I will be your host for today. Before I introduce our speakers, I would like to quickly go through some housekeeping rules. First and foremost, I want to inform everyone that this webinar is being recorded. For privacy reasons, the audio and video functionality has been disabled for all the attendees. If you have any question during the webinar, please leverage the Q&A panel to enter your questions. We have a team of experts ready to answer your questions in real time. We really want these sessions to be impactful and beneficial for you, so please feel free to leverage the chat option if you have any feedback for us. With that, I would like to introduce our first speaker for today, Eshmi. Over to you, Eshmi.
All right, thank you so much, Alfonso. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Ishmael Xavier, and I am from the SAP Build Apps product enablement team. And I've been active in the low-code scene since around 2020, when I began working with SAP's diverse community of builders to make app development accessible for everyone through low-code. And my co-speaker today will be Beatriz Paz, and she is from the product management team of SAP Build Apps. Bea has around 27 years of SAP experience on multiple topics, and she's passionate about customer success and ensuring that all of our customers have a successful onboarding. So hopefully we can deliver that experience for you today. All right, and so just to kind of give an overview of what's going to be covered today in today's session. So we've broken down the webinar for today into 3 compact sections. So firstly, we're going to get ready, and there you will learn everything you need to know in order to get started with SAP Build Apps. And then secondly, we'll get set, so you'll discover all of the details around the SAP Build Apps offering. And then finally, it'll be time to go. So there you can tune into a live demo to see how you can actually start building a productive application. Okay, and before I get started, we want to hear from you in the audience today, and we want to ask you to share how familiar are you with SAP Build Apps? What's your experience level? So go ahead and feel free to answer the poll that's open now. Okay, all right. A lot of answers coming in already. That's great. And it's also great to see that it looks like most of the people in the audience here are beginners, which is perfect because this session today will help you understand everything you need to know on your beginner level journey. So that's great. So thank you for sharing all of the responses with us. And so we hope that regardless of your experience level, you will find today's session valuable. Okay, let me go ahead and close this. Thank you. Sorry, I need to close this. Okay, perfect. All right. And so with that, we can go ahead and get ready. So I think it has been pretty common knowledge for some time now that why is there such a need for low code? And we can already see from the analyst point of view that there are certain trends emerging around low code adoption. Organizations and their digitalization projects are challenged by limited development resources. And so by the year 2025, we see that there's likely to be a 15% shortage of full-time developers. Or one thing organizations can do to respond to this challenge is by empowering the business users to build solutions and shifting some of those mundane development tasks to business users. And we can see that this can actually reduce developer turnover by around 50%. And this is why companies are already investing in low-code development solutions to bridge that gap between individual business requirements and the shortage of developers. And it's been gaining traction, right? So another predicted trend is that around 33% of all developers will be using codeless tools to do either all or part of their developments by 2025. And this brings us to our low-code portfolio, SAP Build. And this is actually an evolution of SAP's low-code offerings. And SAP Build actually brings together separate solutions previously into one intuitive, unified low-code development environment. First, we have SAP Build Apps, which we'll be covering today, our professional app development solution that lets anyone create applications without code. SAP Build Process Automation enables you to automate workflow processes and tasks also without writing code. So users can create forms, manage decision logic, organize process flows, and more with the drag and drop, and also with built-in AI capabilities. And finally, to complete this low-code product family, we have SAP Build Work Zone. So this allows you to create custom business sites for yourself, colleagues, suppliers, customers, and so on, also without writing code. And these sites can also serve as a central access point to relevant applications, processes, or information. And so with these three products on top of the SAP Business Technology Platform, SAP Build empowers more users to build visually, integrate smoothly, and also collaborate in Fusion teams. So today we're focusing on SAP Build Apps, our visual development tool for creating full stack enterprise apps without writing any code. And you can see a preview into the experience here in the animation, and later Bea is actually going to show what this looks like in action. So if we look at the Build Apps approach to development, the main areas to focus on are user interface, logic, and data. And these are also the categories that we focus on when enabling someone like a citizen developer. And so getting started with the user interface is straightforward, as you can see. You can quickly drag and drop components and just start building. And there is a marketplace, including hundreds of pre-built components to choose from. And you can also preview your results in real time. With logic, this is also very quick to start putting together. This is also done with the drag and drop, and we have a library of common use case logic functions to choose from, like file operations, data functions, animations, and many more. And lastly, with data, there are many possibilities for integrating data into your application, and this includes from an SAP or a non-SAP system. So with an experience that's pretty similar to building Legos, or if you have knowledge of things like Excel formulas, you'll find that it's incredibly efficient to get started with a working application. And just a little bit more on the capabilities, and I won't spend too much time on these since Bea is actually going to demo several of these, which will be much more exciting. But as you've just seen in the preview, builders can use the drag and drop approach to quickly create productive apps. And this includes standalone apps and also SAP app extensions. They can either be web or mobile, and both iOS and Android are supported here. And another thing to highlight is the collaboration aspect. And with Build Apps, it is possible to work with different team members on a single project. For integration, this is also possible with BTP authentication and destinations. And also we have simplified backend creation into a visual approach. So you can create data models, manage data persistency, and bring in your own custom logic into the backend. So with all of these capabilities, SAP Build Apps is enabling different kinds of users to develop powerful apps that are robust and can meet a variety of business needs. And when we look at the type of users, the type of personas of who will actually benefit from this, so it's actually not just citizen developers, but both professional and citizen developers can benefit from Build Apps. So both of them can easily get started designing, developing, and even deploying applications. They can imagine new processes to link to business context, but I would say that maybe the key difference here is that a professional developer has more of an understanding of concepts such as development lifecycle, testing, and versioning, permissions, and roles. Whereas a citizen developer is closer to the actual business problems. They have a deeper understanding of the actual processes that they're trying to improve. And then on the IT admin side, And there are tasks here unrelated to development, right? So these include things like governance and lifecycle, which I'll share a little bit more about later about what SAP Build Apps is providing for this side. And then finally, we have the end user. So the person actually consuming these applications, and they can also manage their own customization of the tooling from their end. So it's a wide range of personas that are actually gaining value from Build Apps. And if we look at some of the real customer stories that are happening and some of our customers who are actually putting these things into action, we have several that we would like to highlight. So Pif Paf Alimentos is one, customer based in Brazil. And one of their challenges was manual paper-based process for their technicians. And so Pif Paf developed a mobile app for their field technicians to automate some of these processes. Sustainable development and water for all. They had some problems gathering feedback from different households and vulnerable communities about how they were actually using drinking water and sanitation. So they adapted one of their previous applications to improve that user experience and integration with their own central database. And then finally, Trumpfhutinger, a customer in Germany. Their issue was a time-consuming process for factory floor employees to find the information they needed to complete work orders. And so they created a worker guidance application to create a more efficient execution of these tasks. And all of these stories are live on sap.com. So I encourage you to check these out and see how customers are actually taking this journey and getting started with their own use cases. And just to wrap up this topic of our customer stories, I just wanted to share one quote from Lauro Salgado from Pif Paf. So what he said about Build Apps is that with the low-code, no-code technology of Build Apps, we were able to go live with the mobile application in a record time of 3 weeks, providing a fast response to our business needs. So you can see that even a productive context, it is very easy to get started. And then from there, you can, of course, iterate on your business case. All right. So with that, we are now at the get set portion. I will share more about how you can actually get started and get set. So with Build Apps, we have several free of charge test options. And the guided experience, this is perfect for new users, right? So if you have never interacted with the product, you can take a tour of the features. There is a time limitation here, and it does not offer experience with the enterprise features. And also the Community Edition, which has been active for some time already. This is also a great option to start your learning for visual development, but again, no enterprise features. For those who would really like to test out some of the advanced features, such as BTP integration, backend creation, and other integration to other build products, we recommend the BTP trial or the free tier. So there are some limitations around usage, but both are a great way to test and evaluate for your scenarios to see if Build Apps is right for you. So you see that we have several options that are free of charge, and hopefully we've made this easy enough for you to get started with your Build Apps journey. Okay, so many might already be familiar with SAP AppGyver, which SAP Build Apps is now the evolution of. So we just want to note that SAP AppGyver Classic was deprecated so that we can encourage our customers to adopt and benefit from all of the latest SAP innovations. And we've provided the migration steps so that you can already start using SAP Build Apps. The steps are straightforward and have been included into our documentation. But if you are having trouble or just have more questions about this process, we're happy to support you in the migration process. Please feel free to reach out to us, and we've included our contact email here. And in terms of pricing, we have different commercial models available, including CPEA, pay-as-you-go, and subscriptions. The best way to learn more about these is by visiting the Discovery Center, where you can see more details about what's included in each of these and see which one is the best fit for you. So please feel free to visit the Discovery Center, and you can also check out some of the learning missions available there as well. All right, so on our product roadmap, many exciting items planned for this year. Maybe a couple of things to highlight for the beginning of this year. We are planning integration with Build Work Zone, and also process automation. And these are already technically possible, but with the upcoming releases, the experience will be even more seamless. So we're all very much looking forward to this. And also planned for Q1 is BTP mobile authentication, which we know that many of our customers are looking forward to, and we expect this to be available very soon. There are many exciting items planned for this year, so feel free to visit the Roadmap Explorer to stay up to date and see what's coming up. And lastly, before we jump into the demos, I'd like to share a little bit about our vision for IT governance, which has become an increasingly important topic along with this rise of low-code adoption. So we know that low-code obviously provides many advantages, but also that there are new ways of working required with this. And some of the big challenges that organizations have are having to deliver faster value, avoid shadow IT, and ensure trust between business users, pro developers, and central IT. So for those reasons, it's essential to have a well-planned and executed operating model for IT governance. And you can see this model is what we call the governance triad. So this includes three main parts. And the people and processes part are addressed by things like guides, best practices for starting and running a low-code center of excellence, as well as taking part in trainings, community opportunities. So fostering a culture around collaboration and trust. And the tools part has to do with the built-in governance capabilities of SAP Build. So features related to DevOps, lifecycle management, monitoring. And in the demo, Beatrice is also going to showcase some of these features for admins. And this is also a key part of a strong governance model. If you're interested in this topic, I recommend checking out the newly available Governance Resource Center. And this provides a complete overview of everything SAP offers around governance. And I also recommend this great blog, which shows which capabilities SAP Build actually has for governance in place. All right, so I hope that this provided you with a sufficient overview of how to get ready and get set with SAP Build Apps. And with that, we're going to move into the best portion of this session today, and that's our demo. So with that, I'll hand it over to my colleague, Bea.
Thanks a lot, Ashmi, for this great intro into SAP Build Apps. I hope you can see my screen and can hear me loud and clear. Okay, so now let's go into the fun part, as Ashmi mentioned, into the demo part. In the next 25 minutes, I will guide you through your first steps with SAP Build Apps. And I will cover really the administrative, but also the application creation part. So the administrators will learn how or which booster they should execute, how to check the created assets on the BTP sub-account, how you can add additional users so that you learn what you need to cover for the additional user assignment. We also will have a deeper look in the IIS setup and what you need to do to make SAP Build Workzone running together with SAP Build Apps. We have some news which are maybe also of interest for everyone who has already some experience with Build Apps. This is something which is quite new, and therefore please also listen carefully to the IIS changes for SAP Build Workzone which are needed in future. We will also have a deeper look into the topic how you can connect backend systems to SAP Build Apps, and also here the admin has to do something on the BTP environment. So the first part is really focused on all the admin tasks for BTP and IIS, and in the second part we will then cover everything what a citizen developer can do in the SAP Build lobby. So we will create our first front-end application, and you will also see how you can use the preview portal to have a look to your application on the web browser or even on the mobile application on the mobile device. That would be also part of the demo. Finally, we will see how you can build your web application and how you can deploy it then to SAP Build Workzone. And with that, let's directly jump into the demo. And I will now switch to not to the video, to my browser. Please note that we have a prerequisite, which is the BTP global account. You need the BTP global account as a starting point. when you want to onboard to SAP Build Apps. Please also note, for demo purposes, I'm assigned here as the admin Leo Builder, and Leo is now doing all the admin tasks so that I can then, as Beatrice Pasch, take over afterwards and create the application in Build Apps. Let's directly jump to the booster part in your global BTP account. We will have for SAP Build Apps 2 boosters, and I want to explain why this is the case. So if you search for Build Apps, you can see that we have a detailed account setup booster and a quick account setup booster. We recommend the detailed account setup booster for the moment because you have more interaction possibilities on the UI to select what kind of entitlements you want to use. The quick account setup is more targeted for admins, which are also familiar with the Terraform concepts. They can use the Terraform scripts then also and enable build apps on different sub-accounts. Okay, so not sure what's ongoing here. Let me quickly do a refresh. Usually the booster is coming much faster. I hope you can still hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then now we see that we have here some information about the booster. You will have an overview about the components, and we'll also find some additional resources, links to our documentation, for instance. And then you can click on the Start button. And with that, we now go into the booster details. In the first step, we will check the prerequisites. If I'm really authorized to execute the booster, that's the first check. We will also check if we have the right entitlements for our global account so that I can really onboard to SAP Build Apps. In the next step, I can decide if I want to create a sub-account or if I want to select an existing one. As we don't have a sub-account yet, I create a new one. Then here in the configure sub-account and space, we can now decide what we want to install. For Build Apps, you have the choice between the free of charge offering. Ashmi explained this earlier. This is, of course, something we would recommend if you start exploring our service. Then you can choose the free service plan. If you are already sure that you want to use Build Apps applications productively, you should then select the standard service plan. The Cloud Foundry is already installed on my global account, therefore I don't need it here. For mobile services, this is something which we will need in future. Ashmi mentioned that mobile BTP authentication is on the roadmap, and once this feature will be released, we need the mobile service application or service because you need to configure then something for your mobile applications. Let's keep it here so that we see that you see how it works. We also have the choice between the free and the standard plan for SAP Build Workzone. Let's keep it here for the free service plan. Now, you can see that we have some predefined information here for the sub-account name. You can, of course, override it. You don't have a choice between the provider. We only deliver SAP Build Apps on the AWS provider, and it's also not on the roadmap that we offer it on other platforms. But we have a choice for the region. Here you have the possibility to select either EU 10 or the US 10 data center, and it's on the roadmap that we will be available also on an APJ data center during the year. Okay, so now let's go to the next view. That's the addition add user screen, and here we now have the following possibility. SAP Build Apps requires that you are using a custom IES tenant, and we can see that in my global account already 2 IES tenants were configured. Therefore, I have the choice now. The benefit of the booster is that if you do not have such an IES tenant yet, then the booster will automatically create a new IES tenant for you. So therefore, it's really our recommendation that you always use the booster to start using Build Apps on your BTP sub-account. We have now the possibility to add additional users here. I don't need to enter my user for Leo Builder, the admin. He's automatically, as the one who executes the booster, he's automatically assigned as an admin. So therefore, I can now enter email addresses from other colleagues. And I will also show you by entering my SAP email address now, with the idea that I'm working as a citizen developer later on. I will show you what's the difference between these two settings. In the final screen, we can review everything, and then you see that we now have here a screen where we can monitor the process of the booster. In the first step, the sub-account will be created, then the service quota is assigned. We will have then the setup with the IES tenant. It's necessary that a trust will be established in the security settings. If you don't use the booster, you have to do this, by the way, manually. And this is, of course, possible. Okay. I did this so often, and now it's failing. Not sure why. Let me stop the live demo. I'm so sorry. That's really not what I expected. I really tested it so many times today, but I need to go to the video, which I have prepared as a backup. Let me quickly jump to the part where I wanted to show you everything. Okay, we just saw that we selected the user, and now the booster is executed. So I'm really sorry. I don't know why it was not working in the live demo, but you can see here that the destination was created successfully. Everything in the Cloud Foundry environment, which is also needed to run build apps, will be automatically created here with the booster. And in some seconds in the video, that's the benefit of the video, that we don't need to wait now until the booster is done. Usually it takes 5 minutes until every single step is executed. We now can see that the booster is finishing, and we can navigate to the sub-account from this view. As an admin, I have then the possibility to check the settings of my newly created BTP sub-account. And we will start with the user settings. So we go to security users, because I want to show you that we have for Leo Builder, that's the admin, remember, who executed the booster. We have now here a default identity provider user with the sub-account admin role. We have the same default identity provider role for Beatrice Pasch created, but so myself, I only have the sub-account viewer role here. That's the difference between admin and developer, right? We see a second entry for Leo Builder. That's the custom IES user. And the user for the IES tenant is also created here and holds all the build apps roles. So this is really important. The build apps roles, which are created also with the booster, build apps administrator and developer, they are automatically assigned to the custom IES user. It doesn't make sense to add them to the default identity provider user. This will not help, and you will have no access to build apps later. Therefore, please make sure that your custom IES tenant user has the right roles to access SAP Build Apps. By the way, you can add more users later by executing the booster again. Yeah, this is also something which I can recommend, that you can execute the booster several times for the existing sub-account, and of course, and then you can add more users. One important point is now that with having the user information here in the BTP sub-account, we need to do one additional step. The IES tenant, which is used so that you can log on to SAP Build later on, this IES tenant has a user management, and you can in your companies have different approaches. I want to explain the standard use case, which you can also explore on the BTP trial environment, for instance. we will hold the user information in the custom IES tenant. That means I'm entering here now as an admin the IES tenant. We can see that 4 apps were created for SAP Build Apps, and here you could add some additional configuration so that you, for instance, can connect to your own IDP system. We don't have enough time to check this now. I will show you the user authorization here. We only have Leo assigned as a user now, and we need to assign the citizen developer, Bear in this case, also here with the email address. And then we can decide if an email should be sent to this email address so that the account can then be activated and the password can be set. So this is really important to understand, because often I get questions, okay, I can't log on to SAP Build. Then very often the default authentication which you use to access the BTP sub-account is used and not the user for the IES tenant. So this is really something which is very important to understand how this works. Okay, let's close the security topic now, and let's go to the connectivity part. We want to connect our BTP sub-account and then later on also Build Apps to a backend system. Here we can see that one destination was automatically created. That's the destination which is needed for the runtime of Build Apps. Please do not change or delete it. Very important that we keep it. And we import now a destination which I prepared for this demo. You will find, by the way, in the slides all the information so that you can use it also then later on in your own demo. And we have here one important information, that if you want to see the destination in Build Apps, you need to maintain these additional properties: AppGyver enabled and HTML5 dynamic destination. These 2 properties needs to be available, otherwise you will not see this specific destination in Build Apps later. Okay, so let's check the connection which we just created here, and that looks good. And so we are prepared then for the backend connection in a later step. Let's also quickly check the Cloud Foundry environment which was created for you. If you add additional users, it's also important, if the users should be able to deploy the application at the end, make sure that the newly added user also are assigned here as an org member in the Cloud Foundry environment, and also assigned, we can see here now the org members. So you see Leo and Bea are already assigned as org users. And that's really something you need to make sure that the users are then also assigned. If you use the booster, don't worry, then this is also automatically done. So therefore, I really would recommend, if you later want to assign more users, then use again the booster to do this. Now, let's come to the next part. We want to show you now how you can build the interaction between SAP Build Workzone and SAP Build Apps. We jump to the services view now, to instances and subscription, and here you will have now the SAP Build Workzone and SAP Build Apps application visible. We jump directly to SAP Build Workzone, and we need to go to the settings in Workzone to prepare our deployment, which we want to do later. You need to go to identity authentication, and you need to enable now that also Workzone is using the custom IES tenant like we are doing it for SAP Build Apps. For Workzone, you have so far the choice. You can also use here a custom IES tenant with a SAML protocol. We with Build Apps only allow the custom IES tenant with the OpenID Connect protocol. So therefore, it's really important that both services are using the same IES environment. And we see now here the success message for this task. And then we have to go back to the Cloud Identity Service, to the IES. Now, when we switch to the application view, we can see that next to the Build Apps applications, which were available earlier already, we see a new application for SAP Build Workzone. And we now need to configure a dependency to SAP Build Apps. This is also one minor step which we need to do. We go to the dependency, click on the add button, and then you see already predefined here the application and the API. The dependency name is important. It's really a term which you need to take as it is visible here, SAP Build Apps API. You will find this also in detailed description on the slides, which we will hand over later with the recording and the FAQs to you. So don't worry, you don't need to remind every single step now. Now we are prepared. So now we have the connection also between SAP Build Workzone and SAP Build Apps. And now finally the admin can open the lobby and we can say now the tasks from the admin are done. Let me quickly stop here because I want to show you one single information on the slides. So what is really important is that you will find for every single step now a detailed slide here, so that you have everything also explained in more details on the slide, and you always have then also links to documentation and so on, so that you will you don't need to worry, you will have help when you start going into this direction. Especially the IES topic is something where I know often a lot of questions come up, and we created an FAQ page for you here with the questions which we usually get from our customers and partners. So therefore, please really have a look to this page if you are interested in more specifics for the IES service. Also the detailed step-by-step description for the Workzone environment, which we just did together, and also how to connect to a backend system. Yeah, this was something I wanted to show, that you will find this as reference in the slides which we hand over to you. Now we are coming to the part where the citizen developer starts using then SAP Build Apps. Let's assume I got now from Leo the link to the lobby, and now I start to enter the lobby, but I need to enter my credentials, but I don't know my credentials. Therefore, I now go to my email inbox and find here from the Cloud Identity Service an email. And that means I need to activate my IIS user now. IIS user. And you can see that we have here my first name and the email address and the last name automatically taken over from the IIS tenant where we created the user, and I have to create now a password. And this is the password which you then need to enter the SAP Build lobby. Yeah, so this is really an important step, that you remember that we have for the access to SAP Build Apps an IIS user. And if you don't have a user in the IIS, you probably will have issues entering SAP Build Apps. So now I have my password, I can enter my email address, I enter my newly created password, and then I jump into the SAP Build lobby. And then we are able to create our first project. Okay, that takes unusual long. Okay, sorry for this. So we are now entering the lobby. And in the lobby, you will have an overview about all the created projects. Of course, the list is empty because we never created a project so far. We can click on the Create button and have the possibility to create a backend application or a web and mobile application. We will start for the demo today with the web and mobile application. I give it a name, my customer list, because I want to create a list of customers which I can then access on my mobile or on a web browser. Now, by creating the project, we are now opening the tool set for SAP Build Apps. And this is something which we saw in the demo from Eshme earlier. We have already now created our first page. The first page is visible here as the home page and has already 2 text elements on it automatically. We can change the headline text to my customer list. We can change the style. You see you have different options here. You can also change the layout. Let's make it a little bit more centric. And you can imagine there are tons of possibilities. We don't have time to go into every single detail today, but we have a lot of tutorials where you can learn how to use this. Now let's go to the left side where we have our core components. And I only want to show you how easy it is to really drag and drop now a button to our first homepage here. And you can easily also change then the name to, for instance, let's go to the next page. Okay, so you can also add some logic here. For time reasons, I will not go into that topic. As mentioned, we have tutorials which explain how you can add then logic so that you really jump to the next page. Now we need a list element, and we can find here already some list element in the core components, but what I'm looking for is not part of the core components. Therefore, I go to the marketplace, which has hundreds of predefined content elements. And you now see that for lists, we have really huge possibilities. I will choose the scrollable basic list, install it, and can see it then under my installed components and can also easily drag and drop it to my homepage. And now the design of my first page is ready. Let's save the application. And now we want to bring in some data to this table. How to do this? Here we go now to the authentication. We enable it and go directly to the BTP authentication. We could also use other authentications, but of course we want to use our destination now. I can connect now in the next data tab our BTP destinations, and you see that the Northwind destination, which we created earlier, is now visible here. And I can see the different data entities. If I select the customer data entity, I have the possibility to jump into the real data, and that's of course giving me the confidence that we can see some data. We could also upload sample data, but that's not needed in our case. So now in the next step, we need to make this page, this homepage, known that there are some data available. Therefore, we create a new data variable. We see here customers is already selectable. We choose this. And now the final step is we need to configure what kind of fields we want to see then in the table. So we can easily drag and drop from the available data set the fields which are there. And we can say, okay, we want to see the company name. We want to see the address data, and we want to see the city information in the table later on. So we select it, save it, and then we save the complete application. And that's now everything we need to do. We now want to launch the application, and we want to preview our app in the preview portal. You have two options to do the preview. The first option is to use the web preview. You see here automatically your tile for your app, and we can see now that my customer list is showing the data from the backend, and we can see here the information about the address, the name, and the city. So this is visible here on the web. And if you want to show this on the mobile device, let me quickly also show you how you can see this on the mobile device. For that purpose, we go again in the preview portal, and you see that for preview on your device, you need a PIN code. And how to get to this PIN code is maybe that was a bit too fast. You need to open your the application, the SAP Build Apps Preview application. You can download it for Google, Android, or for Apple in the stores. Then you can download the application to your mobile device, and then if you open the app, you have then the possibility either to use the default destination, which is EU10, or if you are working on another account, or if you even use our AppGyver Community Edition or the AppGyver Classic version, you can then select what you are using, and then you will get the correct code for the mobile preview. In our use case now, it's EU10 as mentioned. When we select then EU10 and click on the Generate Code button, we will then see the generated code, the PIN code, and we now have to enter the PIN code on our web application and confirm it. And then we have now the possibility to view our customer list also on my iPhone. So this is something which you then also can see here and can check if the look and feel on the mobile is as you expected. Okay, now let's come to the step where we want to create the build. You have the possibility to create with SAP Build Apps for iOS and Android the mobile builds. For today, for the demo, we focus on the web application build, and we go therefore to the build button, and then we have the possibility to select the file type. We want an enter file. We need we choose the client runtime version which is available, and define the version of our app. And what you can see now here is that the build is in the status queued. And this is also something why I prepared already here the video, because usually the build takes up to 30 minutes. Sometimes it is already done in 50 minutes, but usually it really takes up to 30 minutes. So please don't be surprised that the build is something which will take a little bit longer. Once the build is available, the status changed from queued into delivered. Yeah, and when this is done, we can then go to the next step and deploy our application. So yeah, now the delivered status is there, and we can click on the deploy enter button, and we have now the possibility to choose the endpoint where we want to deploy our application. You see that in my example, we have here 4 different options. And if you don't know what's the right endpoint, there is a hint. If your admin goes back to the created SAP account, then you will find here in the Cloud Foundry environment, you will find the API endpoint information. And in our case, it's a little bit small. I can see it now. But in our case, it's the last entry which we need to select so that we can then deploy the application. So we selected the last entry, and now we need to authorize. I click on the button, and then I sign in with my default identity user. I select, if I have several organizations where I'm assigned, I select the one which is correct, and then I click on deploy the enter file to this dev space. This will also take some time, so I shortened the video a bit to save time here. Expect that it takes up to 2-3 minutes, and then we will get a link to our deployed application. And then you can see that that's the same view which we saw earlier with the preview applications. A hint for every admin is now that if you want to see the applications also in your SAP account, you will find them as usual for other applications under HTML5 applications, and you will find here the entry for our application. It's with the application name AG, and the number is the project number, which you also can find then in the lobby for your project. Please don't wonder, we will soon not use AG for AppGyver anymore as an abbreviation. We will switch to Build Apps, so don't be surprised that your application name then starts with Build Apps. Yeah, that was everything which I wanted to show in this demo today. And with that, I go back to the slides. Let me quickly jump back to the slide deck so that we then can jump into the next part of our session. And back to you, Ashmi.
Great. Thank you so much, Bea, for sharing this really quite end-to-end demo of how people can get started. That's great. So I know this was a lot of content here. So of course, you're probably all wondering how you can actually get started. So for key resources, we want to share, if you can go next, to some resources that you can use for both learning and engaging with us. So for everyone here, and I know most people here are beginners with Build Apps, we recommend that you get started learning with our learning journeys. And on SAP Learning, you will see that Build Apps has its own dedicated learning journey. And this is perfect for beginners, just to get a comprehensive overview of all of the functionalities of Build Apps. And so you can actually test out all of the features yourself and begin creating. For other learning resources, you can check out our product page and our Discovery Center for more in-depth details, as I mentioned, about pricing. And also the Discovery Center has some in-depth missions as well that you can complete. And our documentation is very comprehensive as well. If you want to know more about how we define certain features, we recommend that you check this out on the SAP Help portal. And for engaging with us and with the community, we have, of course, the SAP Build Apps community page on SAP Community and the Builders group. And this is perfect for connecting with the other builders, sharing some insights that you might have during the process, and also celebrating any wins or learnings that you might have had. And of course, the Builders newsletter is available if you want to stay up to date with some of our latest innovations. You can feel free to subscribe to that. And then finally, for support, for you using SAP Build Apps, we do have an active community, and it is there to help you. There are many existing blogs and Q&A posts available for common issues. So feel free to check out our community page, and you can search these posts for your issue, or you can create a new question if it's not there already. And for our customers and partners on the paid commercial offerings, you can report bugs to our product team, and we have an SAP support process in place for that. So you can go ahead and submit a support ticket to this component described here and to the link listed below. And of course, any issue that you have, we are dedicated to helping support you there. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and thank you all for today. I know that there has been many questions already answered in the chat. So yeah, I guess we have a couple of minutes left. I'm not sure if you want to address a specific question that we've seen or any last comments here, maybe something from the open questions.
To be honest, I had no time to check all the questions which I can see in Q&A. So
Yeah.
maybe if there is someone having a question, can we open up the microphones? Not sure. That doesn't work right.
Yeah, I think we can't. Yeah, go ahead, Alfonso.
Yes, super quick. Actually, video and audio functionality has been disabled for that in this. So I just want to quickly just do a couple of things. First things that I need to do is thank you, Eshmi and Beatriz, for this wonderful session on Build Apps. It's been super insightful, and I'm mostly sure that our audience is now ready to get started with this offering. As we count on many questions on the Q&A panel, yes, we could read a couple of them out loud. If you just want to answer them, I can read it out loud for you. And all the others, just for the sake of the attendees, we will review your Q&A and we will try to include some frequently asked questions information for you so you can review it afterwards, or otherwise feel free to contact us and we can help you get started with Build Apps for sure. So
maybe I can
yes.
answer one question. I just saw one question which is not answered yet. So there is a question. I had a problem with the booster in the beginning, right? And the question is if it is possible to rerun in case of failures. Yes, of course you can rerun, and this is not usually I would do this, but for the demo, of course, we had not enough time. Therefore, I immediately switched to the video. But yes, if the booster is failing, check the error message. And in our case, the problem was that the maybe I can jump back to the view. The problem was that the destination failed, and this is something where I would recommend that you really delete the newly created sub account or run the or we can see here that everything worked, only the destination. In that case, I would suggest that you start the booster again, and then in this case select the existing SAP account, which we now created. Yeah, so don't create another one. Use the existing account and try to rerun the booster so that the destination then will be created. Usually that works. Yeah, so that is something which I can definitely recommend.
Really appreciate it, Beatrice, that information that you're sharing with us. Maybe just as our Q&A keep on rising and we are a bit tight on time, what I would like to just share with the audience super fast is share with everyone that this recording and this presentation deck will be shared with all of our attendees, even though that those could not attend this webinar. So don't worry about it. You will receive all the information. You will receive all the content so you can check it in any moment in time. And before bidding you farewell, we have an optional poll that we will request you to complete just to help us improve these kind of sessions that we are providing to you, and also to see if the content that we have delivered has been something really valuable for your content. Thank you very much for answering those questions and see the answers coming up. So with that, I think we can leave it as it is for today, and really want to thank you all quite much for attending this session. Thank you, our presenters, for delivering an awesome pitch on SAP Build Apps, and feel free to reach out to our inbox whenever you're ready to start your project, and we will be more than happy to support you on your journey. With that, I would like to close the session. Appreciate all your support quite much. Thank you and have an amazing day.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Recording stopped.